Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal was nearly killed potentially by one of her political opponents. A 48-year-old Seattle man arrested this weekend on suspicion of a hate crime for threatening to murder US Representative Pramila Jayapal. I understand if you are not familiar with this story, for some reason I can't conceive of, it's not national news really. But anyway, Seattle police arrested the man outside of her home at 11:25 p.m. on Saturday after she called 911 and reported an unknown person or people were in a vehicle outside using obscene language. She told the dispatcher her husband thought someone may have fired a pellet gun, but he wasn't sure. I don't know if he had a pellet gun, but he did have an actual gun. Officers found the man standing in the middle of the street with his hands in the air and a .40 caliber handgun holstered on his waist. A neighbor told police she yelled something to the effect of, "Go back to India, I'm going to kill you." The neighbors also saw and heard the man drive by her residence at least 3 times, yelling profanities. He told officers after his arrest that he knew who lives in the house. He knew it was Pramila Jayapal, and he wanted to pitch a tent on their property. He has now been ordered to remain jailed in lieu of $500,000 bail. Brett Kavanaugh was near protesters. He didn't see them. They had no interaction. And we had a week news cycle, everyone, every TV show, every newspaper, because there had been peaceful protesters somewhere nearby Brett Kavanaugh. What would have happened if she hadn't called the cops, if they hadn't came there? Would Pramila Jayapal be alive right now? We know he's an insane racist. We know he targeted a Democratic congresswoman, and nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares about this, Anna. And I don't just mean that like Fox News isn't acknowledging it. Maybe CNN covered it. I haven't seen anything from them. I will hope that they did. I will hope and pray that they will at least provide 1% of the time covering the apparent attempted assassination of Pramila Jayapal, as they did for Brett Kavanaugh having to dip out of his meal mid-dessert. What do you think?
I think the squeaky wheel gets all the attention. And I say that because whenever there is someone on the right who perceives political violence directed toward them, everyone on the right focuses on that and will not let it go until it gets the media pickup that we would expect, right? Of what happened to Pramila Jayapal. And to be clear, political violence is unacceptable regardless of who is being targeted. So it could be someone in politics, someone in government, someone in the Supreme Court that I loathe. But you do not respond to the problems that we have in our country right now by threatening the lives of these individuals. We beat them with our ideas. We beat them with rallying our base, getting people to vote. We do it strategically and in an intelligent way, okay? With that said though, we also have to take into account the type of rhetoric that we see among our elected lawmakers and also among those who are campaigning to be elected lawmakers. There's a very clear distinction between the rhetoric used on the left and the rhetoric used on the right. You don't see political ads featuring Democrats or left-wingers carrying all sorts of heavy military weaponry and using language that is very clearly directed toward their political opponents.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You don't see a political ad, which by the way was released by a Republican candidate last week, featuring him literally gunning down Democrats. You don't see that on the left. You see a lot of it on the right.
Yep.
And so there's one group that refuses to turn down the temperature. And then when they see political violence, they're shocked by it and they're aggrieved by it. And all of a sudden they're the biggest victims in the country.
Yep.
You're making your bed. They're making their bed. They just don't want to lay in it. They always want to be the ones who are aggrieved. They always want to be the ones who are the victims. They're not the victims. They are creating what we are seeing in this country right now. The division, the hatred, the fighting, powerless people going after one another more than anything. right? I mean, let's talk about that kind of violence that we're seeing, where one fellow American is going after another fellow American in an incredibly violent way because they have been conditioned by the right wing to think that their fellow American is a huge threat to them due to their lifestyle.
Yeah, they want political violence. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Like it sucks to. Like everybody wonders what they would do in past historical situations. What would I have done as the Nazis were coming to power? I don't know. We don't have time for hypotheticals right now. This is a fascist movement. They want blood. If that guy had killed Pramila Jayapal, they would have, if they covered it, they would have done coverage that it's probably Antifa. It's probably a left-wing crazy. They'd find a tweet or something, and then that would be it. And then they'd move on. They wouldn't care. There's going to be more political violence. There's already been a good amount. There's going to be more. That's what they want. It is a part of the plan.
Yep.
And the media just ignoring it.
It's what they
can't take over this country without their assistance, and they're providing it willingly.
It's like a Sarasota paper, Sarasota, Florida paper deciding to publish an op-ed written by the wife of a Proud Boy member. And then, by the way, failing to disclose that the person writing that op-ed is the wife of a Proud Boy member defending the Proud Boys. Maybe don't publish that.
If the question is what would you have done in the run-up to the Nazis, some newspaper editors apparently would have posted op-eds defending them. And did, by the way, back in the day. We're not better. We're not better.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.